Hello, beautiful friends. Today is a very special day. I feel like recently every day has been really special in terms of our progress through this ascension. And so it was on February 14th, 2024, when something really unbelievable, absolutely, you know, as they say, words can't describe it, something so awesome, something so cosmic, something so huge happened in cosmos. And the new Krishna being, the new Christed baby, was celebrated by all beings in cosmos. And so that was just very recently, and I don't know exactly how the cosmic time works, but to me, this meant that in our lifetime, this being either has already embodied very recently on planet Earth or is about to embody on planet Earth and will change the vibration of the entire planet. And so it happens to be that today, just after the closing of the Lion's Gate, we celebrate the anniversary of Krishna's birth. So Krishna was not just one being. Krishna is the title. It is the cosmic Christ. And so that being or that energy actually has been in several beings. And so some things I say with 100% certainty. And with 100% certainty, I say that a new Christed being has been celebrated in cosmos. And we got to witness this on what happens to be Valentine's Day, which is very appropriate. And it was on February 14th, 2024. I since only have seen this being once again, and it was during our work in Sedona, and it was actually on our way to Sedona for Equinox in 2024 when we were on the mission of building spirals and reminding this planet in her quantum field that she is evolving on a spiral, the spiral of evolution, which is also within us as the force we know as Kundalini. And so, oh my goodness, so much to share today. And for those of you who are in our Green Tara Circle, some of you already heard what we will share here about the water activation, but I will still repeat everything for everyone here as well. And so we will start with a beautiful prayer that was shared today through the Self-Realization Fellowship this morning as they were celebrating this anniversary of birth of Krishna. I really enjoyed this prayer, and I think all of us will be able to attune to Divine Mother and Divine Father and the great ones through this beautiful prayer that Brother Chidananda shared this morning.
So let's begin by praying together. Feel that we are surrounded and permeated with the omnipresence of God and the great ones, filling our hearts, enlightening our consciousness as we invoke their presence. Heavenly Father, Mother, friend, beloved God, Bhagavan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahavatar Babaji, Lairi Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our beloved Guru Paramahansa Yoganandaji, saints of all religions, we bow to you all. Beloved Lord Krishna, we offer our heart's love and reverence at your feet of omnipresence. We come to you with hearts wide open. We make ourselves receptive to the ocean of your blessings, the ocean of your joy, the ocean of your eternal unconditional love. Fill us with your divine consciousness, your divine bliss, your transforming and purifying unconditional love.
What a wonderful way to start or even end this day, depending on where you are on this planet. And so today we will actually have multifold activities, and one of them will be water activation. And so if you have a glass of water, if you don't, please grab a glass of water. And then also we will have an incredible gift, and it will be life-changing. Again, I say that with 100% certainty. And that means that we will receive a transmission from Orin, and a transmission so powerful that will transform our earthly bodies, which means our physical, our etheric, our mental and emotional bodies, all of them all at once. Quite incredible. This transmission comes from the divine manifesting, and I will explain a little bit why I believe it's important now to work with divine manifesting. I personally would actually change the title, and that is because manifesting became very much kind of like mainstream new agey thing. Let's manifest this, let's manifest that, all coming from our personal desires. But divine creation, I would call it, is something very different. This is actually a very advanced course. We always speak about the divine self as the ultimate self that is the one and only true self that we are. We have been living in the personality matrix. We can call it false matrix, we can call it illusion, we can call it samsara. And that has changed and is changing and will continue to change, where we are actually in the time of dissolving the personality as we have known it, with all its desires and all its attachments. And so we are stepping into completely new way of existing as the divine self. The divine self has always existed, but our connection with the divine self was severed very often. And so now we are reconnecting with the divine self who always has been reaching out to us as the I am presence, as the I am that I am. And in the work of Orin, if you are familiar with the work of Orin, it is a true path of self-realization. There's nothing random. I believe Sanaya never, ever, ever created anything that would be just so that they could sell another audio or just so that they could have another recording, to please people with. None of that. It is a very precise path that takes people from the level of the personality matrix into the liberated state, complete renunciation, where they eventually completely become identified only with the divine self. And because it is the path, it has certain steps. And so one walks from the personality matrix completely trapped by illusion, completely identified with the body, completely identified with the birth and death. And one walks into the soul plane. And in the soul plane, we realize great soul power. But that is not yet our destination. And yet it is an important step, of course, to experience. And then Orin takes us into the energies of the divine self, of the I am, of the one self, of the I am that I am, that is the spirit within our structure. And the spirit works, as we always say, like a waterfall, as if you had a sun that could pour water upon this plane, and that water would be the energy of the I am, and the person would be here either in a receiving mode or not. So that is the free will, to receive or not. Everybody is in charge of their own openness or not. And so then Orin takes us into the energies of the divine self. But the journey does not end there. It continues. It continues into the embodiment of the light body, and actually inner crucifixion, which means completely letting go of the mortal self and becoming the immortal light body. So as you walk the path, for example, with Orin, there are stages of the embodiment of the divine self, and the work actually comes to its peak, and that is this course. And it was a live recording from a workshop, so it's very long. It's 39 recordings, which is, appropriate, of course, for the work. But this is the final work with the divine self. And in it, is contained attunement not only to the divine self, but of course also to divine will, as they are absolutely interconnected and one cannot exist without the other. And the divine self then becomes fully attuned to divine will, which also means complete knowingness of the divine plan for the self, and maybe even for the collective, and maybe even for this planet. And then it is not manifesting from the desire body. It is no longer manifesting from the personality self. Now it is creating one with God. And God, meaning in this case, the divine self that I am. And so then one is in the process of creation. So it is the transcendence of duality. This is the transcendence of duality, which is the key, of course, because as long as we are in duality, we are only so-called manifesting out of samsara, out of illusion. So when someone doesn't have something they wanted, they say, I'm going to manifest it because I don't have it. I'm going to manifest it because I want it. That is personality, and it is samsara, it is illusion, it is the false matrix duality, where people have the illusion of them manifesting something out of desire. So this is transcendence of that. This is stepping into creation. It's really profound. And as I was on vacation, actually, I'm still on vacation today and tomorrow. And as we were traveling in Utah, which was absolutely stunning. I have to say, I've seen some incredible things like Bryce Canyon. That was my first time. If you've been to Bryce Canyon, it is the most breathtaking piece of nature I've ever seen. And if you've seen it, I'm sure you know what I mean. It is just so different, truly, like wow. And so I was meditating with these divine transmissions of Orion every single day. And one of them, I thought, if only we could share it here on this call, everybody would benefit. So I wrote to the Foundation of Orinandaben, and they gave us the permission to share this one transmission. So that's why I would say it's a great gift. We will share it today and on the evening call. It struck me so much that one out of all the 39, there are so many so great, all of them are incredible. You birth the new you birth your light body. At the end, actually, you start stepping into the energy of the light body. But this one felt to me so important right now because it will dissolve illusion within us. It will dissolve, and it's layer by layer by layer until it's all gone. But I promise that it is one day all gone, because it's like cleaning, when you're cleaning your home and you have a lot of dirt and dust, eventually you're done. And so eventually we are done. So this is exactly what it is. I'm so grateful we get to do that. First, we will do the water activation because I know some of you, it's late for you, and some of you, you need to leave early. So I just want to make sure we do this. So we are here at Green Tara, as many other collectives, of course, in this world, guided by Divine Mother, because she knows that she has been telling us this ascension is about her return. She's been reaching to every single person on this planet, of course. I always want to say, I share personal stories, but never ever do I share them to make it about myself. It's very important. It never is about the one person. Sometimes, maybe even 1,000 of us, or maybe more, receive the same mission. And so we just show up and do whatever we are asked to do, but never claiming any personal kind of success, like we did it. No, it is done. It gets done. And so that's how I believe this works. I even actually, to mention some of this, in 2022, there was this big assignment of a big mission for humanity. And I've seen certain leaders in this world actually fail the mission because they made it too much about themselves, and they made it too much about, it was their mission, and yet it was collective. And so then when it is like that, ego-centered or about just one person, it usually fails. And so that's what I've seen. And so at Green Tara, we don't make it about a self, we make it about Divine Mother, of course. And so that's really important. So nothing is ever done by an individual. It's always a collective, and not just a small collective. It can be so many collectives on this planet. So Divine Mother has been reaching to so many over the years. And of course, our goal here is successful ascension. Successful ascension is also the return of the Mother and all that it means for humanity. So it is stepping into the oneness, the underlying oneness of all life, and seeing through the illusion that is still separating so many. We see it, for example, here in the US, of course, in the political world, but I think we can see it all around the world. I don't think that there is a place in the world where illusion is not. And so, Mother is unifying, and she's unifying, of course, through love. She's unifying through her original blueprint for this world, which is the caring, deeply caring principle. That means I care for all children as if they were mine. I care for all women, all men as if they were my family. And so it dissolves a lot of the boundaries that humanity actually was fooled by, because we were fooled, I would say, by the structure of the false matrix, the samsara. Now it's the time of dissolution. And so again, I shared this already in our circle. Somebody asked me, why does it have such a weird web address? It is what Circle does. So that's the web address if you are part of the circle. It's also on our homepage. So we have done this water activation before, but that is the mission right now. And again, I don't want to say just our mission, but we will be working with this mission until it is done again. So while traveling in the absolutely stunning, what we call Utah, again, we dissolved the boundaries while visiting Mother Earth in all her beauty. I always meditate a lot. That's obviously how we get information, is in the silence of the old self and in the openness of to the divine self. And so we were playing Maravati, and I know many of you joined us as well. And the information that came was that there is something that can be done, even though we are absolutely moving forward according to the plan. So that's what we were told as well. All is moving forward according to the plan. So it's really great to know. I'm always so happy when it is like that, instead of, taking longer and going sideways and not forward. So we were told that we can actually support at this stage of ascension, and that is by activating our current realm, our Earth, our planet, with the new Earth codes. What are the new Earth codes? It is anything that is birthed from your heart, what you would wish for humanity, and not coming from the trap of duality. That's really important. So, as we were trapped in duality, we were manifesting. I don't have it, I want it, so I'm going to manifest it. That is not actually singularity. Singularity comes from one heart, one love. And it comes also from kind of like not knowing of duality. So when we speak about the tree of good and evil, that tree obviously is the tree of duality. That means we are trapped in the pendulum. The pendulum swings from one side to the other, but actually neither are the truth. When there is duality within a consciousness of a person, then they might think that one side is better than the other. But that is still a trap and not the truth. The truth is always singularity. It comes from the oneness, and the oneness is in the center, and in that center, as strange as it is always perfection, which one might normally think can be found also on one side. So if I have disease and health in duality, then that's definitely duality. So, person who is sick wants to be healthy. That's coming from duality. But in the center of all things, where truth can be found, is pure health. And that's, the dichotomy of things, little paradox here, that you will find true health not on one side, but in the middle. The same when we have war and peace as duality. If war and peace are two sides of duality, one might think that peace in opposition to war is what we want. But if we delete duality, we only end up in the center, in oneness, in singularity. And in that singularity is only peace. So that's the paradox. To be able to move through illusion, one needs to move through the center and not through just one side. So this is how we collapse duality. And that is actually our purpose, because duality was falsely introduced by the being who created the false matrix and started samsara. And so today we will be activating the earth with new earth codes. That means when we go into the singularity, the center of our heart, which is in the middle, and we start giving birth to true divine desire, without the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. We have to transcend duality. So, like, I want to give an example. Divine Mother trained us so well, didn't she? When she gave us that example of suffering animals, for example, elephants that she used. And she said, when you see the suffering of the baby elephants, I know I shared the story many years ago. When you see the suffering, for example, of baby elephants, the example that she used, you cannot go into the duality of they are suffering, I want them to be free. They are suffering, I want them to be safe, because that means I'm moving only in the trap of right and left. I have to transcend what I'm experiencing and go into the oneness of my heart, where only perfect conditions exist. And from these perfect conditions, I give birth to a new reality in which these baby elephants are experiencing a wonderful life. So, is that clear? I'm going to look at the chat now. How we do that. Wonderful, wonderful. So we know it's not easy, of course, because we were poisoned by duality. But unfortunately, or actually very fortunately, that means we are so good at this because our divine self is only singularity. Our divine self is only perfection, and everything is within the perfection of the divine self. It is the alpha and omega of our own being, the beginning and the end, which means all is perfection and all solutions are contained within the divine self. Wonderful. So once we have the glass, and this is something you can do as often as you want. We have been doing it since we received this information every single day. You can do it with your partner. You can have one jar of water. You can whisper or speak the codes that come from your heart, not necessarily from, again, the mind, but allow it to be whatever the heart tells you to speak. And then you simply pour the water onto the earth. It could be onto the land, onto plants, wherever you want to. You can do it as often as you want, but I would obviously hope that we get to do this every single day, because it doesn't take much to sit outside with a glass of water or even indoors. And if you don't go outside, like I know some of you are unable to walk, so you just do it at home with a glass of water and you pour it onto the soil in your plant pot. So every single day, and we've been doing it, and many friends have already joined us. Many of you in the circle have joined us. So we will be doing that because we are still completely charged up with the energy of pure creative force and energy that came through the incredible Lion's Gate. And so I have my glass of water, you have your glass of water. I'm going to play a beautiful song. And during the song, speak as many codes as you want or whisper to your water. And then we will, after the call, go outside and we will pour it upon the land. And I told the earth today, wait for this magic. When hundreds of us around the world pour these holy waters, activated waters with these codes onto her body, she will feel the power of what we are doing here, of course, because there's immense power in this collective. And I mean just collective that's so harmonious, that has been working together for so long. And so with that, I'm gonna actually move to a different visual here, and that will be the visual of activating these beautiful codes and putting them into the water. and then pouring them onto the earth. And so I'm gonna play a beautiful song while each one of us is whispering to our water. Again, I do recommend including at least one code for divine will, that divine will be done through these waters, because we can put a lot of things into the waters, but sealing it with divine will, we can't go wrong. And so here is Hare Krishna while we activate our waters.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And if you want to now, I think that we might be complete with our activation, but if you want to put in the chat all the wonderful things, all the wonderful codes you are activating your water with, just to give others ideas, examples, and also to share what our planet will be receiving today through your loving heart. And I'll just keep playing this beautiful chant.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
amazing. It is truly incredible and so powerful to be reading what everyone is putting in the sacred mother water. Amazing. And so our intention here and the process is that we can do this every day, of course, anytime, takes a few minutes, and we will be surely alerted when our mission is complete and we are pouring our intention. And I know it's hundreds of us. And I will speak about this often so that we keep doing it until it is done. We will know when it is done. Every day we can be of service this way. Incredible. And so I want to make sure at the end, after the call, if you can pour it outside, and of course we will do it with reverence, connecting with each other around the world. And we will pour it onto the land again, and she will receive it. I know she will let us know. And so I also want to make sure that everybody receives today the transmission of Orin that I have spoken about, which I think is very, very important because it will be purifying all our earthly bodies. And I said it would be life-changing. Of course, how could it not? Our lives are a reflection of us. It's really important to know. And what is being reflected onto the canvas of our reality is always our energy. And so when we change our energy, that means we change the light codes around us, within us, through us. We purify our emotional and, of course, our etheric and mental body. Then, of course, the canvas of the reality has to change as well. We just know this is how it's done. And so for that, I will be going to, actually, I have to pause the recording, of course, to honor this work. Again, we will be repeating it today at 5 p.m. So if you can join us again, because the more we clean, the better it gets. And so this is one of the audios from this very long course, which has 39 audios. And this is, as far as I can tell, it is number 20 in my files. And it is called Purification, Refining Your Aura. And it is only 23 minutes, but it is so powerful. So let us set intention that together we will be able to completely purify and refine our aura. And that will change how we project onto the canvas of reality. So it's only 23 minutes. So I'm going to pause recording. And so, wow, wow, wow. Yes, amazing, beyond amazing, life-changing. I know that you know exactly because you know the power of this work and coming together and doing this together. Absolutely powerful. You know, I'm so grateful that we get to do this work together because nothing is more important in this world than clearing the illusion from all our bodies. And sometimes when you don't know exactly what to clear, because some things are obviously unconscious, just ask your divine self, I want to clear everything that is not divine truth in any of my bodies. Divine self, please clear everything that you find is not useful for me anymore. Divine self, please clear all my bodies all at once for divine perfection that you manifest within me. Anything like that. I wanted to share a little bit about this course. This course, and I've done it several times, it has also an incredible transmission, and that's the second last one if you have this course, where you give birth to your new self like never before. And that one is the beginning of the light body, of course. It's very, very powerful. We will get to work with this again tonight, but also I will ask for the permission to share it one more time when we do our next call, and that will be next Saturday. Sorry, I just wanted to quickly share a different slide, not this one. But I will be in Circle today. I haven't been in a while, you know, since we were traveling, but I will be reading your posts and responding. I wanted to share with you one thing that is happening here on this planet right now. The old false matrix, which we will analyze. We will do a little analysis, or a big one. We will dissect samsara next week on Saturday. Can you please put in the chat what is the date on Saturday next week, just so that we know the date? 23rd. Okay, 23rd. That's great. So we will meet again on Saturday the 23rd here, unless something happens in between and we do more calls. So the false matrix samsara was falsely created, and you can read about it in the Second Coming of Christ with Yogananda. How it wanted us to actually misunderstand reality. It's a big misunderstanding. So in that misunderstanding, maybe all of us, I don't know, definitely I did it, is that we pointed at the reality, and then we were saying, I want to change this should change. I need something else. I want something else. You get the idea. This could be for any area of our life. It took away our truth, which is everything's the projection of our energy. So if we want to see a change, we have to change the energy first. So in divine creation, we dissolve the images. We get to have a clean slate. But to get to the clean slate, we need to obviously do something like what we did. That means clean the patterns, clean the elemental substance from our physical, etheric, mental, and emotional body. Once we have a clean slate, there is no projection on the screen of our reality. And then, as divine creation is projection, it is creation. That means we create a new pattern, new Devic life, as you heard Orin say. Deva, what is a Deva? Deva is the mother of a form. So if someone, let's say, is angry all the time, they will have a Deva of anger in their field. If someone experienced trauma, there will be a Deva of trauma in their field. If someone has an addiction, there will be a Deva of addiction that will then get together with all the other addiction Devas, and it will create a very big being that we then call a monster. So we all have some kind of devas, of course, within us and around us, and we can call them elemental substance. This elemental substance, if it is not balanced and harmonized, if it is not evolved into more angelic substance, will be constantly reflected on the canvas of our reality. And some people would say that, the same patterns will repeat. Yes, because elemental substance around us, we cannot get rid of it unless we do what we have just done, transmutation and replacement. For example, if you read the great book about Magus of Strovolos, great mystic, Christian mystic who lived in Cyprus, he was performing miracles. He performed miracles nonstop, never charged any penny for what he was doing, because he was a mystic who had incredible capability to travel out of body and to be working with the elemental substance even of this earth. He always said, if you want to heal someone, you first have to work at the elemental substance level and transmute the elementals. You cannot undo them unless you transmute them and replace them. So in a way, a person is always experiencing the result of their elemental substance. Magus of Strovolos, yes, great book, great being. Also, you can have it as an audiobook, it's on Audible. So if we want divine creation to be truly divine creation, we have to do some cleaning up, transmutation of our elementals, the devas. The devas, we want to actually eventually only have angelic devas in our field. That's what will make the human being an angelic human being. Now, I have a question for all of you, and if you are in Circle, you can post in Circle, or if you're not, just email me. I'm looking for kind of like a lamp, and it can be whatever cost, it doesn't matter, that has the violet flame. I looked online, couldn't find a thing. I wanted to buy it for our collective and for when we have in-person events, so that we can really have the violet flame burning. And if there is something that looks truly like the lamp of Saint Germain, where the flame is burning and it looks violet, I would love to know where to purchase something like that. I have not found anything, because it's nice to actually do magic. And I really mean, something that looks mystical. So if you can email me, wonderful. And so with that, we will now, I just want to show the image. We will go outside and all of us at once, if possible, of course, will step outside, if possible, of course. And that is, we will be pouring the activated waters. And they also, the water listen to Orin, so it even has more energy in it than before. And we will be activating the new earth codes that actually are in our mother water in this planet. And so it is. So thank you so much. Many blessings. And we will be together again next week on Saturday, August 23rd, where we will fully dissect the false matrix that only lives within us now and within the systems of this world. So it's time for the great dissolution. So thank you so much. Many blessings.